Yes, woo! Tumagal sa akin ng 2 taon to, mga kaibigan. Yes, time check ngayon. It's currently 2:35 a.m. Halos kakauwi ko lang about 30 minutes ago. So, basically, this video is gonna be an update video on my Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, which I bought exactly about March 2023. So, well, technically almost 2 years now, but you know, technicality. So, this phone is basically 2 years old now, and I've been using it again for the past 2 years, and it's been great. Still great. Display, performance, battery. Cameras I don't really use as much, which I'm actually gonna tell you the reason why. If by the end of this video you're looking for a flagship smartphone that you want to use, that you want to buy, that for the most part won't cost you an arm and a leg, yeah, this is probably the choice. But not this exact model. But then again, I'll get into that by the end of this video. And the reason why I was clapping earlier is because usually when it comes to smartphones, I would normally find a way, even though I don't have money for the most part, I would find a way to like get a new smartphone every year. But for some reason, this phone has been with me for the past 2 years now. And if you're thinking of buying a smartphone, that won't cost you, well, here in the Philippines, over 50,000 pesos or well, over $1,000. This is probably the best choice right now, in my opinion. So yeah, this is the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra after 2 years. And yeah, this is my Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, which I've been using for 2 years now. Yes, 2 years, mga kaibigan. And kind of proud to say that because usually I can't like stay with one phone for like a little over a year. Maybe except the Poco X3 Pro that I had years back. But yeah, it's still awesome. Like, you know, display, performance, battery, which is the three main aspects that I look for in a smartphone. Honestly, actually, I'm gonna discuss the cameras in the maybe by the end of this video. But yeah, for now, the display, it's still awesome. It's gorgeous, 6.8 inches, Samsung's 120Hz AMOLED display, LTPO Corning Gorilla Glass Victus 2. Which, to be honest, if I knew that this was gonna collect hairline scratches eventually, like after 6 months, because like year after year, they say that they're gonna upgrade the displays. Like for example, Corning is gonna upgrade maybe to be more scratch resistant and more shatter resistant or some bullshit like that. My boy Jerry Rig has been proving year and year that, yeah, nothing really changes year after year. Yeah, as you can see, I do have actually a hydrogel. At least that's what they want to call this. But I feel like this is just a plastic screen protector. Mine is a matte one, so it kind of affects like the quality of the display. But overall, it's awesome. It's an AMOLED. It's a Samsung fucking AMOLED. So even in broad daylight, even though this is 2 generations old, it's still perfectly viewable even under direct sunlight, as long as you put it in adaptive brightness, and it's still perfect. So perfect viewing angles, pretty much no color shift even at extreme angles. And yeah, actually the first thing that I should have discussed is the build. So this device is basically built like a tank. Maybe the only thing about the design wise that I don't like about this is it's a really shiny frame. Not a big fan, although mine doesn't really have scratches since I actually use mine with a case. So initially I actually really like the squared off edges here. For me, it's like more a standard monitor, like you're looking at like basically a miniature monitor or a mini tablet, whatever you want to call it, since again the edges are squared off. But the thing is, I've actually dropped this with the case before, and I'm not sure if you can see that clearly, but it does have a minor dent here on the upper right and right here near the S Pen on the bottom left. It's not that obvious unless you're like trying to look for it. But yeah, that's kind of annoying because if you drop this, especially without a case, that's gonna be way worse, especially if it hits the corner first. So yeah, I don't really like the design aspect of that. I do love this color though, cream. It's very nice. No scratches so far on mine. That's great. Yeah, having a curved display on a phone is just not the move. Like maybe years back when Samsung first launched the Samsung Galaxy Note Edge, it looked kinda cool, but that's pretty much the extent of it. The added functionality that Samsung claims it brings to the table is honestly more of a gimmick, to be honest with you. And I really like how Samsung did with the S24 and the S25 this year with, of course, that non-reflective flat display. So for example, tempered glass screen protectors won't be really hard to find since the display is flat. Honestly, maybe you can find like a generic, like maybe a tempered glass for another phone and it'll fit perfectly fine on that. But yeah, gorgeous display. Yeah, after 6 months again, the front glass accumulated a few hairline scratches, which is basically just viewable in like really extreme lighting or under direct sunlight. So that's why I put a screen protector on this. So don't even like trust or, well, say to yourself that, oh, I'm not gonna put a screen protector on this since they advertise this to be scratch resistant and it's not gonna accumulate any scratches at all. It's definitely built like a tank. So I'm just gonna do this just to show you guys it's basically not even flexing. Although I am an average size person. So next up is the camera, which to be honest becomes less and less of a thing for me each year since, well, brands particularly don't really like, I mean, they claim that they've upgraded their camera to revolutionary, but yeah, I'm just gonna show you guys samples. So we have a main 200 megapixel sensor, 10 megapixel telephoto, 10 megapixel periscope telephoto, and 12 megapixel ultra wide, which, yeah, here are the sample shots. And maybe the Achilles heel of this phone when it comes to the camera is the front facing camera. So especially to those people who are thinking of buying a phone to have a basically a vlogging phone wherein they're mainly just gonna use the front facing camera to do vlogs and shit. It's kind of disappointing for a flagship, to be honest. Even like 2 years ago, it's really nothing special. It's okay. And I guess the main reason why I don't like the front-facing camera of the S23 Ultra is because it gets really bad in freaking low light. So yeah. And honestly, one of the main reasons I decided to go for this phone, the Ultra, instead of the Plus variant is because of that 100x zoom, which to be honest is, I said to myself earlier I was gonna discuss the camera by the end of this, but you know, since we already tackled this, moving on to performance, which is still basically the same. So the under display fingerprint scanner, it's fast and accurate, especially with a, basically as long as you don't put any tempered glass screen protector on this, you'll be fine. As putting on one, it's still responsive, but like maybe half the time it doesn't recognize my finger because of maybe how thick a tempered glass screen protector is. But yeah, with this, it's perfectly, well, no issues with this. And yeah, performance is great. Feels basically as when I first unboxed it. And with Samsung's One UI, there's basically no hiccups in the software. It's one of the best Android experiences that you can get on a phone. Definitely One UI. Of course, the 120 Hz display adds to the experience. It's really freaking awesome, guys. And yeah, of course, I'm just gonna do a quick demo here of a game with, you know, PS2 emulator. So there is in fact a new emulator for the PS2, which is PPSS22. So yeah, there we have Need for Speed Most Wanted, easy. And of course, the speakers on this are really freaking awesome. So that's so heartbreaking, pero yun. And really, when it comes to performance, I feel like smartphone performance has gotten so good this past few years na there's really no reason to upgrade to the next generation phone if your like focus is on performance. Like, it doesn't really make sense. Like, the 8 Gen 2 is still a powerful device and powerful chipset, I mean, and actually considering these past few years, especially with the reviews from GSM Arena with the S24 Ultra and recently the S25 Ultra 8 Gen 3 and then 8 Elite. Yeah, with these types of results, I'd still stick to this one. And really, The only time that this got hot to the touch was when I tried to actually record an 8K video. Yeah, legit. That's the only time that this phone got uncomfortably hot, was I think about 20 to 30 minutes of recording an 8K video just because I wanted to test it out. That's the only reason why I tried to record in 8K using a phone. But if your main reason for buying a phone is to record an 8K video, then I think you might not have your priorities straight, bruh. But yeah, in terms of performance, this is still great. You can still throw the latest and greatest Android games here and it would handle it like a champ. And one of the reasons why having a phone with a USB 3 standard is so fucking underrated, especially with this phone, is this has DeX, like Samsung DeX, wherein basically you can turn your phone into a desktop PC, while not like a complete like Windows experience, obviously. Putang ina mo. Yeah, less stress na kasi na madaling araw, mga kaibigan. But yeah, this is the Baseus, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. But basically, this is one of the accessories that you can use with basically any phone that has USB 3. You can dock it, of course, just easily connect it to a monitor. So you have an HDMI, USB-C to charge your phone at the same time. And you do have a micro SD card and full-size SD card, one USB 3 and two USB A 2.0. So, and actually one of the fun ways that you can turn this into like basically a console, kind of like a retro console more of, is you can easily of course connect this with even with just something as basic as a HDMI to Type-C connector, and just hook it up straight to a TV monitor and connect a gamepad and run emulators on this or pretty much any game that supports a gamepad. Boom, instant console. And yeah, last off is battery life, which is still for me excellent, although it has degraded not by a lot or not even like significantly, to be honest with you. So 5000 mAh battery with 45 watts of max charging speed, and to be honest, I've never actually used this with a 45 watt charger, mainly because I kind of find it too expensive, the Samsung 45 watt, and I didn't really bother with like other like third-party chargers that claim they support Samsung's 45 watt fast charging. But yeah, Samsung's 25 watt fast charging is good enough. I can charge this in 1% to 100 in just a little over 1 hour, maybe 1 hour and 10 minutes. And that's pretty good enough for me, actually, to be honest. So yeah, when it comes to battery life, so I can actually show you guys screenshots of this. So for my typical work day right now, so I go to work at maybe around 2:30. So yeah, I usually leave the house at around 2:30, and yeah, I usually leave at about 100%, in this case 96%. And yeah, it's one of the things that I actually hate about Samsung nowadays, at least with One UI, is that when you charge it to 100, it can't like reset the screen on time here that it's showing. You can only reset the screen on time on this when it hits 12 a.m. exactly. So just an estimate here. So I left the house, and to be honest, when it comes to work, I'm in a BPO industry, so I don't really get to use this a lot at work. So maybe just trips to and from work, and my 1 hour lunch, and my breaks maybe. So maybe about 3 hours of screen on time between those. So 96%, and this is just strictly using data, of course, with Bluetooth, with my Bluetooth earbuds. And when I came back home earlier, about 1:48 a.m., I was left with about 63%. So that's about a little over 3 hours of screen on time using mobile data alone, and that's freaking awesome. So that's mainly a combination of social media, watching videos, gaming, not so much, maybe about 20 minutes of gaming, and that's it. And I don't really use the cameras here at work because I don't really take pictures of anything at work. And yeah, but considering it's just mobile data, and yeah, I would say that's still pretty freaking awesome. Basically, for me, if I start the day, even when I start the day, like when I'm leaving the house on a weekend or something like that, I would charge this to 100%, and maybe end the day with like 40-30%, and barely even able to kill this within the day. So it's still great. Definitely degraded from the first time I used it, obviously, as it's been 2 years. But when it comes to battery life, I feel like the S23 Ultra won't leave you like wanting for more, I guess. So if you are actually planning on buying one use, your mileage may vary, obviously, as for example, if the previous owner of the phone that you're gonna buy didn't really like, he drained it most of the time to 0%. And yeah, he played a lot of freaking games wherein definitely does still get hot. He doesn't basically rest it and kind of abuse, I would say. Then it won't be as good as this, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, when it comes to battery life here on my S23 Ultra, I would say it's still freaking awesome. It's great. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much everything you need to know about the S23 Ultra. It's still a freaking awesome device. Awesome flagship phone for not a flagship price, especially nowadays. So here in the Philippines, you shouldn't spend over 40,000 pesos if you're gonna buy this used. You may be able to find some around 35k, and that's a freaking good deal as is, especially for this 256 gig variant. And while be that as it may, this isn't actually the phone that I would recommend to you guys wholeheartedly. So while I can definitely recommend this easily to anyone who's looking for a flagship phone, the phone that I would highly recommend to you guys is to just get an S23 Plus with a 512 gig storage. Or depends if you guys think that you need 512 gigs or maybe 256 gigs is enough for you guys. That's up to you. But for me, if you were planning on buying, you were looking at the S23 series, just go for the S23 Plus. If you don't need the zoom, that's one of the reasons why I actually went for this 2 years ago instead of the Plus model, is because of the freaking zoom. I was kind of a sucker for that back then. Plus, again, the squared off edges, the bigger battery, which doesn't really matter because I think I saw in like a couple of like battery tests years ago that the battery life on the S23 Plus was actually better compared to the S23 Ultra. And then the S Pen, if you freaking don't need that S Pen, that fancy S Pen, which I honestly, I don't really like pull out or even use. As you can see, I think this doesn't even show like any sign of wear, the tip of my S Pen. And really, the only reason that you would go for the S23 Ultra is if you take a lot of pictures, and this is something you would do. For example, you can easily open up the camera app by holding the button, which by the way, you cannot do with the S25 now. Here is my wand. I can easily take pictures. Yeah, I look like a fucking recharge. Wow! But anyway, that's one of the cool features that you can actually do with the S Pen. So if you don't need the S Pen, you don't really need to like write down anything, like actually take notes in your phone. Yeah, basically the main reason why you would choose this over the S23 Plus, that zoom, just a bit of a bigger display, that S Pen, and that's basically it. If you don't need all those, the S23 is perfectly fine. And honestly, I would trade this in a heartbeat for an S23 Plus with 512 gigs of storage, although I'm not entirely sure about that though. So yeah, if you're thinking of buying the S23, or basically you're looking at the S23 series and you're looking to buy a flagship phone for obviously not a flagship price, S23 Plus it is. This is still a great phone if you think you can take full advantage of that insane zoom, S Pen, and just a bit of a bigger display and squared off edges. If you like that, then yeah, the S23 Ultra is something that I can easily recommend to anyone. And yeah, just to finish this video off, really the only reason why you would buy for, or you would go for the latest flagship like the S25s, the Pixels, the iPhones of the world, is because you just basically want the latest flagship. Like if I ask you what's different with the S25 from the S24, you wouldn't really be able to tell me the difference, bruh. Trust me. Other than that, really the only reason why you're buying the latest flagship again is because it's the latest flagship, and it's become less and less compelling to buy the latest flagship these days if you're a tech enthusiast. But if you're a normie, basically, which nothing's wrong with that, and money isn't a problem for you, then yeah, go ahead, buy the latest flagship over and over again. Not sure if I forgot anything. I'm just kind of tired right now, and I kind of wanted to record this video now because I feel like if I'm gonna be recording this video in the morning, I feel like I won't be able to get up as early. So yeah, I hope that I didn't forget anything in this video. If I did, while editing this video, then of course I'll be leaving everything I left out, I guess, in the comments of this video. And if you guys have any questions, just of course leave it in the comments. And yeah, hopefully this was helpful to those who don't want to spend like double the price of this. So yeah, you can easily get something like this for like 35,000 pesos, maybe the S23 Plus, way less than this, maybe 30,000 here in the Philippines. And but yeah, of course, if you guys want to buy your own Galaxy S23 Ultra, may it be used or what, I'll just like find every link that I can find in the, and I'll leave it in the description of this video. Of course, if you guys like this video, leave a like. If you guys enjoy my content, consider subscribing and turn on notifications for all, so you'll be updated on my latest videos. I don't upload as much or make videos as much nowadays because well, I'm working now, and I don't know, even though I can like buy phones to review now again, the thing is, like back then with my previous work, I can actually use phones while working, so I can like test phones that I'm reviewing while working. But the thing is, I'm in basically BPO company now, and we are not allowed to take our phones inside the production floor. So we have lockers there where we leave our phones. And but yeah, peace out, and as always, stay safe, mga stay synatics.
Serving a Tesla, going back, shawty with me, I stepped up. GTA for the ops, ain't no less stuff. Shawty born to be my angel, yeah, I'm blessed up. Cooking right up in the stew.